Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome back to Pre-Market Info.
And welcome back, Joel, from Atlanta.
Yep, down there for the Final Four. I want to thank the city of Atlanta. They did a great job hosting the Final Four. I had a great time. Could have had a little different outcome to the game, but hey, if you haven't been to a Final Four, you should do it. It's a
It
blast.
looked crazy, man, watching it on TV. I was so jealous of you down there. It had to be just a crazy environment, especially with Michigan in the Final Four. I don't think anybody expected that. But they did pretty good, Joel.
Yep, I was happy, and if Michigan would have won, there's a very high probability that I would have got beaten up by some Louisville fans.
There you go. Back to the markets here, though, and back with our live show, obviously. The E-mini here, kind of quiet this morning, but slow, steady climb. 1566, we've been as high as 1569. What's your
Yeah,
take here, Joel?
well, I just kind of trying to, get the market goggles back on here because last time it was back on Fridays when we had that dip from the unemployment report. But this Teflon honey bear market just comes back, roars back. Interesting number to talk on the upside. Then we'll get into the stocks. Former high of the move, 1568. We traded at 1569 in the pre-market. So, came off there a little bit, but that is the only resistance we have. Coming back on the downside, looking at the Globex low, 1561. Now that would be your minor support.
Check out what these solar stocks did yesterday afternoon, led by First Solar. They basically took off. First Solar raised guidance for 2013, 2014, and 2015. Just to give you the 2013 numbers, they now see $4 or 4 to 450 versus estimates which were down at 346. They also see sales up at 3.8 billion to 4 billion versus the 3.15 billion estimates. That news came out. These stocks just started flying here, and First Solar led the charge.
Yeah, these stocks really were shining yesterday. Obviously, the news coming out. You'll have to jog my memory here, but one of the big reasons for channels and other people being short these stocks is they were booking forward earnings as current
Yeah.
earnings, and people were really worried about it. And now, I mean, deciphering the news, you're my news guy. I mean, are they actually going to have real earnings?
Look at this. Just bring up the daily chart here. I'm not sure, with the earnings. And first of all, that has been the argument for a while, is that basically they're booking the earnings as they get the contracts, not doing the actual work. That's always been the argument against these solar companies, because the way they book the earnings is a little bit weird.
Okay.
But this is just an insane move. Like, if you're looking at a 2-month chart here on First Solar, basically was trading down near the lows for the last 2 months, and boom, blew through everything, kicked up to $41. Just an insane amount of volatility here. The stock is down $2. You can say, oh, why is it down $2? There's not really any news, but the thing's just that volatile. It's all air everywhere, and I think you're going to see these other solar stocks have a very volatile day here again. It won't be as volatile as it was yesterday, but wow, that is just an incredible move here, and definitely a massive short squeeze in that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know the that negative move off the $29 level was earnings related. This obviously reverses that news. But to the technicals, 41 was the level that you hit yesterday. Pulled back to close at 39.35. See, imagine if you get any kind of rally back up to the close. Some people that were looking for the Dennis 2-day move may want to try and get out at the mark. Looking at the after hours and pre-market activity,
It's
we
drifted
did get
down.
a dip after the close. Got down to $35. Keep an eye on that as minor support, though. That's the only thing I could call is minor support after a move like that.
I'll give you a couple other ones too that had sympathy moves yesterday. SPWR, Sun Power Corp, got a good pop yesterday, popping about a buck. You can see, actually, I'll just fly through them here.
Okay.
SCTY got another good pop there. TSL as well. So SCTY was a symbol on that one, which is Solar City Corporation. Not sure why we're not getting the symbol on that.
because I put the wrong thing
Oh.
in.
So yeah, STCTY. You've also got TSL, Trina Solar. That got a good pop. That's only a $4 stock, and it popped up to like 450, 455. Yeah, you can see the big lift there right around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Same story. JASO, which is JA Solar Holdings. That was a $3.70 or $3.70 stock. You can see the huge lift in that one as well. So across the board, massive short squeeze on these things here, and massive breakouts for a lot of them as well.
Did one
So
of them have earnings today?
that's a good question,
JKS?
actually.
Yeah, I did see earnings on them. Actually, they lost more than expected. Looking for 80-cent loss. Lost a buck 26. Getting a little bit of a hit in the pre-market. So the lift that they got yesterday from that news might be negated by the negative earnings today.
Yeah, but it's not down much, only down 15 cents because I'm looking at the move yesterday, and you can see, well, basically lifted up from the whole $5 area. Actually, if you look back 2 days ago, which you can see on this chart, this thing was down at 420. That's been an incredible
Someone
move.
got the memo.
Four to six. Yeah, basically went up 50% here in 2 days. That's an incredible move for this Jinko Solar Holdings Company. I don't know much else about it other than it's an impressive move. We do have a couple earnings here this morning. FDO Family Dollar reported earnings here. They weren't very good actually. $1.21 versus a $1.23, so they missed. Stock is trading down here about $2.80 at 57 bucks right now after closing at 59.80.
If my memory serves me correctly, when I read Barron's a long time ago, I believe they were looking at Walmart. I mean, they're cutting everything in their store. They have cheap prices. I don't know if they're cutting everything to $1, but fearing a lot of competition coming from Walmart, who cannibalizes everything it gets into. But looking at it technically, 56.75 is what we've hit in the pre-market low. Getting just a little bounce, just above 57. So let's use that 56.75 as a minor support point. Looking at the daily chart, the stock fell off a little bit here since the end of March, traded over 62. Looking at the daily level here, it did have a low at 56.58 on February 28th. That coincides with our pre-market low. Let's keep an eye on that level this morning.
Constellation Brands also had earnings. That symbol ST Zebra. Stock trading down just a bit here. Actually lifted up originally. They beat by a couple cents, but then actually has pulled back here and now is trading down and offered at 48.50. Very, very light volume. Only 1,300 shares here have traded. So it ticked up to $50.25 just on a couple hundred shares, but now trading down.
Yeah, but that kind of pre-market activity, you have to take a look at the dailies to see where the stock has been over the course of time here. We are trading down below this, well, just above support point at 48.20. So keep an eye on that. 48.20. You had another low at 48.09. That's going to be the support. If it can hold there, look for it to perhaps trade down to the 47.5 level. Coming back on the upside. Yesterday's low, 48.25. So, you're still holding support as we speak. So keep an eye on that 48.25.
IBM getting an upgrade at UBS here this morning, Joel. I talked about the 210 level yesterday on the show. That level actually held perfect because it closed there. If you bring up yesterday's trading, actually, Joel, just bring up the pre-market trade, and you can see that 210 yesterday, major resistance was there. It tried a few times and then closed off the highs at 209.22. But this morning it's blowing through that 210 level on this UBS upgrade, trading at 211.62. Obviously, that 210, which was major resistance, probably now becomes support.
Was there a big seller there, or
It's just a technical level. Like if you look back, even on the dailies, it was basically 3-4 times it had bottom there. So it was a classic where old support becomes new resistance. So I was just kind of citing that at the 210 area. It looked big. I didn't see anything from the book, like from an order flow perspective. That was just a huge technical level. But this is what happens when you get upgrades and stuff like that. They can actually push it through these technical levels too, and that's what's happening this morning with UBS.
Okay, well, this 210 to 212 area looks just like a scary level. Doesn't like
Oh,
to
air.
spend a lot of time in there. So in the pre-market, you have reached a level above that. You've went up to 212.69. That coincides with the high that you had only about 5 days, 4 days ago at 212.93. So let's call that whole area as resistance. If you're looking to short the thing off the hop, you maybe let it float up into the 212 handle before you lay things out. Coming back on the downside, I mean, you got to imagine that 210 is going to be support now.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was saying too. I think that 210 level is still key. I don't think it sees it today. I think the upgrade will probably keep the stock fairly high. I can't see that thing pulling back that far. Obviously, depends on what the market does as well. ExxonMobil here downgraded at Morgan Stanley this morning. It's trading down 27 cents right now at 88.50. So this is an interesting chart here on the XOM because this $88 level has been absolutely enormous for a long, long time. Basically, the last 2 months. Look at that $88 level. Just sticks out like a sore thumb. We're 50 cents away from there right now. Obviously, if it pulls back to that level, I think you find support there again.
Yeah, we had been talking about this 88 to 90 channel. Got a little giddy here, broke out to 91 and pulled back, and now you're at the bottom of that channel again. I think you have to continue to play that. Interesting when you look at this thing. I mean, 88 stopped there a little shy on Monday at 88.15, so people are starting to step ahead of that technical level. Only down 27 cents, not a lot of volume. Looking at the pre-market low, not too far away from it, 88.41. But I don't know. I don't know if this downgrade is going to hold much water.
Well, AEO and ARO both getting upgrades, or one's getting an upgrade, one's getting a downgrade. AEO getting upgraded at Piper Jaffray, and ARO getting downgraded to sell at Goldman Sachs. These two stocks, a lot of people pair these two up, American Eagle Outfitters and Aeropostale, but they're going to go in opposite directions here today because of the upgrade and the downgrade. Let's start with ARO here, Joel, because it's actually trading down on a Goldman Sachs downgrade to sell. 1290 is where it's at in the pre-market.
Yeah, well, that it had some super major ultra support here around the 1310 level.
Going to take that out,
We
it looks
did
like.
take that. Yeah, we took that out, so I use that as resistance now. The next support level that you had was right around this $1280 level. That's where we're trading. So that's what I'd use as my early parameters in the ARO. If you're looking to fade it, the pre-market activity pretty much confirms that. Going to AEO. American Eagle. I think I bought one thing there once. They got an upgrade here.
Piper.
1935. 200 big shares have traded. Can't put much stock into that. But it is coming up to an interesting area. Yesterday's high, 1946. You had another high at 1948 on March 21st. So call that whole 1950 level as good resistance. You break through there, go to $20. And that's you said that's Goldman Sachs, right?
Yeah,
Did that?
well,
Yeah.
no, this one
I
was
don't-
Piper and AR.
Piper.
So, yeah,
Okay.
Piper Jaffray upgrading AEO and Goldman Sachs downgrading ARO.
Well, they carry a pretty big stick. So
Oh,
we'll see
they
what
always
happens at
do.
this,
They always
yep,
do.
1950 level.
Look at this Microsoft chart here, Joel. Wow, this is a complete breakout here now for Microsoft yesterday. We've talked about this $28 consolidation for the better part of 3 months. It got up to the 29 level. It didn't even play around in the 29 level. It got up to 29.61 yesterday. Now trading 29.68. It looks like it basically in the 28 handles took 3 months to get through it. It's trying to get through the 29 handle in 2 days.
We were having a little debate about this.
Yeah, they had some news come out intraday, and you were
Yeah.
saying that you thought that was the driver. I think it's more just a technical breakout. But what was the news? You have it written down there, Joel?
The news is that they're going to supply some more information to NBC Sports and then the Golf Channel and whatnot. So Microsoft diversifying its distribution network a little bit. Well, first let's look at the dailies. I mean, I've been talking about this pig forever and your brother. You have resistance here, former resistance at the $29 level. And that was when it had bad earnings last quarter. It hit there and it tanked. But looking at it during the day here, look at this. I mean, it just kind of slides up, moseys up a little bit ahead of the news. Before the news didn't come out until I believe around 1 o'clock, and then it exploded. So let's keep an eye. Yesterday's high, 29.82, with 14 cents away from that. I don't think we've gotten up there in the pre-market. No, only gotten up to 29.70. But you got to figure there's probably like 400 billion shares to sell at 30. I mean, when's the last time the stock
It's
has been
true.
at been at
30 will be
30
huge.
bucks?
I'd imagine
Yeah.
29.95 area 30, but it's got some momentum going, so you got to give it that. I think you got a few people caught short this thing, so it wouldn't surprise me if this thing tried to get up to that 30 level with 30 cents away from there right now. But it would not surprise me if we actually make a run at it here today. Obviously, we'll find out here shortly when the day gets going if Microsoft has legs to make a big 2-day move.
Okay. One other thing here, we saw Goldman Sachs is also active in French telecom. They put it on the conviction sell
That's a
list.
crazy
Does that
list,
mean
eh?
you just go out and short it? I
I don't
mean, is
know.
that crazy? Have you ever seen a stock put on a
I didn't
conviction
realize they had
sell
a.
list?
I knew they had a conviction buy list. I actually didn't realize they had a conviction sell list. That's an interesting list. I bet Goldman Sachs is probably the only brokerage house that actually has a conviction sell list. That's interesting. It's only down 7 cents here in the pre-market.
Most brokerage houses never, they don't even tell people to sell stuff, and here they put on a
Conviction
conviction sell
sell
list.
list.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure Goldman cares, but hats off to Goldman Sachs. I think that's great that they can look at both sides of the market.
J.C. Penney. Let's just talk about it one more time because what a crazy day that thing had yesterday. Bring up, the trading from the last 2 days if you can. Does this show? And you can see the pre-market actually after hours when they fired Johnson and then they brought in Allman. You can see the spike up to 1788 as they fired Johnson. That's at the beginning. Point that out. Yeah, you can see that way up there, and then boom, all the way down to the lows there when the Allman was hiring. But it was crazy. Like I was actually trading that a bit after hours there, that J.C. Penney from 2 days ago, and basically there was somebody coming in when it was up $1 and trading the high 16s, low 17s. Some institution just kept in and coming in and dumping 100,000 shares, and then you get pecked away, pecked away, pecked away, and then you get filled. So somebody was banking that this gains were not going to hold, and somebody was very right. Props to that institution because they used that opportunity to liquidate a huge position in J.C. Penney, and it was the right call because obviously the stock continued to drift down here yesterday, closing near the lows. And where is the bottom for J.C. Penney? Is there a bottom?
Well, first off, hats off to you. Did catch the Reuters feed there, and you had a lot of comments
Oh
on
yeah,
that talking about
Reuters
the
had a little bit.
institutional sun. They couldn't get a hold of me, so they called you. They knew I was at the final four. I mean, where's the bottom in this stock? Well, the only thing I could tell you is 1390 was yesterday's low. We are just treading above that area. It's around a nice whole number too, like 14. So before we get too giddy and about J.C. Penney here, let's look for at least a hold on that 1390 low. Get a day or two of consolidation, and maybe you can get a little move off of it. Boy, my weeklies here don't give us much information. I know on monthlies, well, hey, we can find support here on pre-market info. Back in March of 2009, the stock hit 1371, matched that low in that area in November of 2008 at 1395. So if this stock can hang between 1375 and 14 over the next couple days, you might be able to get a little pop on it.
I think it takes it out. I think it takes out at 1371 and continues lower, but that's
All
just.
right, we're at 1407. I'll take 1457, and you can take 1357.
I'll do it. I'll take the
Okay.
1357.
Oh,
So
that
we
is
got a bet.
double.
We got a bet
I
here, Joel. I'm taking 1357, 1457. I'll write that one down. Our usual bet there, Mortimer.
Yep. A Labatt's blue light.
Labatt's blue light. Oh, let's just finish with the market because obviously kind of quiet. We do have Fed minutes coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern today, so that can sometimes be a mover, but more often than not, I feel like those Fed minutes don't move the market as much as they used to.
Right, we're just popping around here. Once again, I want to reiterate the former high of the move at 1568. We did take that out in the pre-market, 1569 high. That's your resistance. I mean, after that, use a projection of the average daily range of 1561 low. Could take us up into the 1570s. But boy, it still feels like when this market's going up that, there's more than enough institutions or investors or whatever willing to let go of, the stocks or the futures. So no top in sight yet in the market.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading session, and we will be back with you tomorrow.